What if I told you that money, the thing you work for, save, and believe gives you security, has died before, not once, not twice, but repeatedly? Throughout history, entire civilizations have risen on the promises of their currency, only to watch it collapse into dust, while a new form quietly took its place. And the most disturbing part, every time money collapses, the same pattern repeats. The same warning signs appear, and the same hidden forces step in to reshape the world in their favor. Today, we're uncovering the secret history of money's collapse and its rebirth, because once you understand how money dies, you'll see exactly where we're heading next. Most people think money has always been what it is. Today, paper, digits on a screen, credit cards, crypto wallets, but that's just the surface. Behind every form of money lies a design, a system, and a power structure. Money started as something real, tangible, scarce, valuable, but over thousands of years, rulers, bankers, and empires discovered a trick. If you control the money, you control the people. And if you can change the money, you can rewrite the rules. This video is about those rule changes, the moments when money failed so catastrophically that societies were forced to reboot. These aren't just historical curiosities. The same conditions that destroyed the entire monetary systems in the past are emerging again right now. But before we reach today, we need to go way back to the origins of money's first great collapse. Before central banks, before debt-based economies, before digital balances, there were commodities: salt, grain, livestock, gold, silver. These weren't just trade goods, they were early forms of money. People used them because they were scarce, durable, and widely accepted. Trust was built directly into the object itself. But as societies grew, physical commodities became inconvenient. Kings, emperors, and later governments discovered a shortcut: create standardized units of value, coins, stamps, seals, official markings. And for a while, this worked, until the people in charge realized something dangerous. If you dilute the coins, if you reduce the gold content, if you print more paper than you have metal to back it, you create wealth out of nothing. This is where collapse number one begins. Ancient Rome gives us the first well-documented example. For hundreds of years, Rome used silver coins, the denarius. Each coin contained a predictable amount of precious metal. Stability brought trust. Trust brought power. Then came war, expansion, spending. The empire needed more money than it had silver. So the emperors began quietly reducing the silver content, mixing it with cheaper metals. The coin still looked the same, but its value had changed. This was one of the earliest forms of inflation, and the Roman people didn't understand why prices kept rising while their coins looked identical. It worked for a while, but with every generation, the coin weakened. Eventually, a denarius had less than 2% of its original silver. The money had died. And with it, Rome's economy. The pattern would repeat globally for centuries. China, Persia, France, every major civilization eventually discovered the same financial shortcut and paid the same price. But the next evolution of money would be even more dramatic. Fast forward to the 1600s and 1700s. Governments and early bankers introduced a revolutionary idea: paper money. At first, these notes were backed by gold or silver. You could exchange your paper for metal anytime. But once again, debt, war, and political ambition got in the way. Kings issued more paper than gold. Banks loaned more notes than they physically held. Nations quietly broke the promise of convertibility. One by one, currencies collapsed. The French livre, the continental dollar, multiple Chinese dynasties, countless European paper issues. Every collapse followed the same formula: excess printing, loss of trust, panic, reset. But after each collapse, a new form of money emerged, stronger at first but always built on the same fragile foundation: trust. The next turning point happened in 1971. For decades, the global monetary system depended on gold. Even after 2 world wars, central banks used gold as the ultimate anchor. But the United States, overstretched by war costs, social programs, and international obligations, was losing its gold faster than ever. Nixon faced a choice: honor the gold standard and let the system fail, or break the link and create an entirely new kind of money. On August 15, 1971, he chose the second option. The dollar was no longer backed by gold. Money became fiat value simply because governments said so. This was money's most significant rebirth in modern history. Most people didn't even notice, but everything changed. Debt could expand infinitely. Central banks could manipulate interest rates at will. Governments could fund deficit after deficit. Banks could loan money that didn't yet exist. And for decades, this illusion worked. Until it didn't. Once money detached from reality, something predictable happened. Debt exploded. Look at the numbers. Global debt in 1971 was about $1 trillion. Today, it's over $300 trillion. Government debt is at the highest level in recorded human history. Personal debt has become normalized. Corporate debt is systemic. Central bank balance sheets are completely unprecedented. Money hadn't just changed. Money became debt. Economies no longer grew through production. They grew through borrowing. Recessions weren't cycles. They became crises, requiring intervention. Every fix created a bigger problem. Lower interest rates led to more borrowing. More borrowing led to bigger bubbles. Bigger bubbles led to bigger crashes. And bigger crashes led to more intervention. By the 2008 financial crisis, the illusion was wearing thin. By 2020, it cracked. And today, even the institutions running the system admit openly that it cannot continue indefinitely. But here's the most interesting part. We are now repeating the exact same pattern that led every past monetary system to collapse. History's collapses shared the same warning signs: excess creation of money, ballooning government debt, loss of purchasing power, growing wealth inequality, social unrest and polarization, and a dramatic change or reset. Compare that to today. Over 80% of all US dollars in existence were created in just the last few years. Inflation recently hit 40-year highs. Wealth inequality has reached levels seen only before major societal resets. Trust in institutions is collapsing. And central banks are openly discussing digital currencies, the next possible reset phase. History doesn't repeat perfectly, but it rhymes loudly. We are living through the end phase of the current monetary design, which means like Rome, like the early paper systems, like 1971, our rebirth is coming. The real question is, who will design the new system, and what will it cost us? So, what are the three key takeaways from all this? First, money always collapses when those in power abuse it. Whether emperors diluted coins, kings printed paper, or central banks created digital credit, the outcome is always the same. Second, every collapse is followed by a reset, and the rules always change. New systems benefit those who design them, not the public living through the transition. And third, we are nearing another turning point. The warning signs match every major monetary failure in history. The next monetary reset won't look like a sudden collapse. It will look like a slow shift, gradual changes in policy, new digital tools, new forms of money, and new restrictions disguised as solutions. Those who understand the pattern will adapt. Those who don't will wake up in a new system they never agreed to. If you want more deep dive videos that uncover the hidden history of debt, central banking, and financial power, make sure you subscribe, hit like, and share this video with someone who still believes money works the way we were taught. Because the more you know, the less control the system has over you. Thanks for watching.